And welcome here, folks, to the Pictou County Wellness Center for this matchup between the Rage and the Bombers. Puck drop for the first period is about to be underway. And here we go. Rage will win it back to their defenseman. Moved up, and that'll fly out for Little. Little moving it up into the neutral zone. Here comes Little. Walk in. And it's just a little high. It'll loop around up to the defense. Cormier moves it down in. Anderson. Swain's after it behind the net. Little has it. That's broken up and played out by Smith. Or Simon, sorry. The Rage will dump it in, and Cormier will grab possession for the Bombers. Couple moves around the net. He'll get some pressure from Mayo. And that'll loop out to the neutral zone for Norris. A little too far ahead in Mayo's stick, so Cormier will pick it up in his own zone. Off for Little. Little over to Cormier. Up for Anderson. And he'll fall down, but still get possession. And we're going to stoppage and play here for a hand pass off of the Rage. Draw here just outside the Rage zone. One back by them. But here comes Miller pushing in. Rage will get possession and try and break it out here. Out from the neutral zone it goes. Grace is racing for it, and he'll get there. He'll move it up for Miller. Miller drops it back. A nice pass for McDonald. Here comes McDonald, hands it over. A shot on net, and that's in! The Bombers strike first. It's Bowden with the goal to put the Bombers up by one early. So puck drop here at center ice. Bombers up by one. That's one back by the Rage. Battle for it here. Whittemore brings it in to the Rage zone. Behind the net, he'll try and play it in front, but that'll slip out, and the Rage will break out now. It's Price with it. He'll walk in, hand it over. Price in, and a good save there. Arsenault, puck bounces by him, so that'll go down to the Rage zone. Bombers will get a change. And it's played out to the neutral zone, and we'll get a stop in the play. Not sure what's happening over the penalty box. It looks like Whittemore's going to the box. So this Bombers team will go to the penalty kill here. They're looking to keep their lead early in it. One back by the Bombers. It'll go around the net for Cormier. He'll throw it up on the boards and exit the zone. Little putting on some pressure in the Rage zone. That's flipped up, and Cormier's got it. And he'll put it the length of the ice. Little in there again, putting on some pressure. But here come the Rage. Little's got it. A turnover. And he just can't reach it, so that'll flip out. Rage now. They'll dump it into the Bombers zone. Played around behind the net. And up it's Baldwin. He'll hand it over. A shot on net. And this in front. And it's covered up. kills so far here by the Bombers. Almost had an opportunity. Draws one back by the Bombers. And the Rage will score on the power play. So this game's all tied up at 1. It's Borgorn with the goal. 11:50 left to go here. McDonald trying to bring it in. That'll fly out. Here comes Bowden. Hands it off for McDonald. A shot on net, and that's tipped away. Round in the corner for the Rage zone. And it's up for Grace. Grace trying to walk in. That's broken up. Here come the Rage now. Fancy move around, and Grace will pick it up for the Bombers. He hands it over. Back to Grace. Grace moves it up. And Woolley tries to tip at that one, but it'll fly out and exit the zone. Draw here just outside. That's played up. Miller. And dumped in. Rage now trying to get it out of there. Behind the net. And played up. Cormier's there to block that off though. Price can't get there in time. Here comes Cormier. He'll walk into the corner and loop back around. Up for Fraser. And over. A shot on net. And that's gloved up. Callum Hartland in between the pipes for the Rage tonight. Or not tonight, sorry, this afternoon. Bombers have it behind the net. They're going to try and make a play in front. That'll slip out to Cormier. Cormier down in. Reed can't get a stick on it, so there'll be a battle for it. Rage take possession. They're going to try and break it out, but McIntosh is there. That flies out. Up for Anderson, who will race after it. Getting some help from Reed. Moved up, and that'll fly out on the stick of Lawrence. Flipped up and over. Here's Anderson. Walking around the net. He'll have a look to see if he's got any passing options. He'll put it up to Matal. Matatal, sorry. Matatal throws it back in. Kept in by Anderson. And off for McIntosh, who walks in with a shot, and that's off the blocker of Harlan. Back around, the Rage will take possession in their own zone as they try and start a breakout, and we'll get a stoppage in play. So the draw here, back in the Rage zone. McDonald taking the draw for the Bombers. And he'll try and push that through, but Crawford will take possession. Moved up. Matatal hands it over, back to Matatal. Moved up, and Woolley can't get his stick on it, but no icing on that play. Rage trying to get it in. A battle for it at the blue line, and that's an offside. This Bombers game is brought to you by the Pictou County Wellness Center here in Stellarton, Nova Scotia. Gets played back for the Bombers. Moved up, Bowden. Hands it over for McDonald, who starts to go. Here comes McDonald. He's got Bowden with him. He'll try and take a shot on net, and fans on that one, so it'll go behind the net. He'll take possession again and move it up. Whittemore keeping it in. Back for McDonald. He'll walk in with a shot, and that's blocked in front. Mayo will take possession, and he'll move it up, but that's kept in by McDonald again as he flips it into the corner. Morris moving it up. And that's stumped in by the Rage, and they'll get a change that they needed. Back for Whittemore. He'll move it up. Woolley tips it into the zone. Price can't get his stick on it for the Rage. So Grace will grab it. Back down into the Rage zone. It's Little in the corner. He'll hand it over to Miller. Miller battling for it. Back up for Little. Little will try and play it up to the defense. Cormier will pinch in and grab it. Cormier trying to keep it in, but it'll hit off his skate and bounce out to the neutral zone. Cormier trying to bring it back in. Miller grabs that for him. Miller walking in along the boards. He'll drop it off for Little with a nice pass and a shot on net. And the rebound goes back in front for the Rage, but Little will pick it up off them. Puck hits off the ref's leg a couple times there. Miller will try and make a play in front, excuse me. And now Cormier will have to race forward into the corners. The Rage have possession. That's moved up, and Swain grabs it and moves it out for Little. Here comes Little with some speed. He walks in, and that play is broken up by a great defensive play. Back up for Mittal. He'll take a shot, and that's off the stick. And out of play. Draw here, one back. Rage take possession, and now they'll exit into the neutral zone and try and bring it into the Bombers. Back behind the net, there's a battle for it. That's moved back out, and we'll get an icing. In between the net, the pipe story for the Bombers tonight is Mason Gunn. That's one back. The Rage trying to keep it in, but the Bombers will grab possession. Battle for it. Mayo grabs it and he'll move it around for Morris. That'll slip up to McDonald, and a big block shot there. Mayo moves it over. No one's there, so the Bombers will take possession. Morris rims it around for Campbell, who will have to race after it, but McDonald will get there first. And he'll take it to the neutral zone. Grace. He'll walk in now. Grace will dump it in off the backboards, and McIntosh will go after it. He'll get hit heavy into the boards. Here come the Rage. Breaking out. Woolley now. He'll play it in. Anderson trying to get his stick on it, and he'll play it back for his defense. Grace moves it up for McDonald. Here comes McDonald with a shot on net. That's off the leg of Norris with a great block. Moved up, McDonald again. He'll hand it over. Walking in and a shot on net. That's off the pad. Shot on net again by Grace. Tipped in front, but that'll go not the way they wanted it to. Battle for it along the boards. McDonald grabs it. He'll try and move it in, but he'll hand it back for Grace. Grace with a shot. That's off the glass. Price trying to bring it out for the Rage, but Grace will get there first and move it up. Here come the Bombers. It's dropped back. Anderson will get hit off that one with a big hit. And McDonald will dump it back in and go off for a change. Anderson in behind the net battling. Back up for Grace, almost tipped in front. Battle for it again along the boards. And that's moved up. Cormier with it now. He'll walk into the corner. A great possession takeover. Cormier moves up to Whittemore. With a shot on net, that's blocked. And kept out of the danger zone by Price. Lewis after it now. That'll move up for Crawford. Crawford trying to get it out, and he'll take it out to the neutral zone, but he'll get hit off that one. And Anderson will hand it over to Little. That'll go back for Crawford as the Rage dump it in to the Bombers zone. Moved up for Bowden. He'll hand it over to Little with a nice pass. Little walks in with a shot, and that's gloved up. Hartland having a good game for the Rage so far. A couple of close chances for the Bombers that he shut down. Draw for it, Reed after it, as well as Bowden and Little. Little will grab it and he'll move it up. Hand it over to Matatal. He'll take a shot, that's tipped, and it goes wide. Moved up Crawford, trying to get it out to Simon, but that'll go off for Little. Big shot on it, that's blocked in front. It's alive in front, and the Rage will get it out of the danger zone. But Matatal will take another shot. Flipped around, Crawford trying to get there, but Reed pushes him off of the path. Little also laying some hits there, and he'll take the puck, plays it in front, and that's just wide. A light bouncing puck. Battle along the boards now. Moved up for Crawford, who will try and tip it out. It's kept in, and Reed will go after it. Reed now. Shot on it, that's off the pad. Great vision there. Little trying to get it out, but Simon goes off his body and he'll sneak out, so the Bombers will have to regroup in the neutral zone. Crawford for Simon. Simon, that's tipped away, and Little will go after it now. Bombers hemming them in their zone. Mayo, he'll move it up, and that'll fly out down into the Bomber zone for an icing, which is not what the Rage wanted. Draw here, one back by the Bombers. Cormier now hands it over to Little. Little walks in with a shot, and that's off the blocker. Moved up, Little keeping it in. Down in for Miller. Miller trying to make a play in front. That'll get broken up. Hand it back to Cormier with a shot, and that's shut down by Hartland. Corner. Battle for it along the boards, and that'll slip out to the neutral zone. Around the back of the net, Cormier now. He'll try and move it up. Miller's there. Miller will take it back down to the Bombers zone and have a look at his options. He fires it up, that's broken up by the Rage. And played back in for Little. Little now going around the back of his net, and he'll make a pass. Up for Miller, who tips it into the zone. Fades it back. Rage trying to get it now, but Anderson's there first. Played up, a shot on net by Grayson. That goes off the outside of the netting. Moved up, it's McDonald with it now. He's having a look with a shot on net, and that's broken up. Grace thought about pinching for it there, but decided to play the defensive path, and that'll go back down into the Bomber zone. Moved up for Anderson with a shot on net, and that'll be the end of the first period. So we'll take a short break here. We'll hear a word from our sponsors.
Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop, turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family-owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit jrsons.ca and tell them High Button Sports sent you. John Ross & Sons, scrap metal made simple.
And welcome back here, folks, to the second period of this game between the Bombers and the Rage. Scores 1-1. Shots are 11-3 for the Bombers. That's moved back for Grace. He'll hand it over to Ross. And that's flipped up. Dando trying to bring it in, and he'll get hit off that one as it goes down behind the net. Grace battling for it, and that's a hit to the face that Grace doesn't like. Arsenault with a shot on net. Blocked away by Ross. Moved up and kept in by Lewis. Rage will have to clear and regroup. Grace moving up now. He'll hand it up. Woolley couldn't bring it in too far, so the Rage will grab it. That's handed over. And that'll flip up and out for Cormier, who will take possession in his own zone and move it up for Little. Here comes Little walking in. He'll go around Lewis with a shot on net. And the rebound's alive in front for Cormier. And they don't know where it is. It's flipped out and into the corner. Back up for Cormier now, who takes a shot. That's blocked again. Battle for it along the back of the boards. Swain with it. He'll dump it in. Down in for Little. Little along the boards. Trying to get it, but Lewis will grab it off of him. Still battling for it behind the net. It'll pop out and the Rage will get after it. Picked up by the Bombers, however. Little hands it over and Bowden tries to get a shot off. Whittemore bring it in. He'll get hit. And it looks like we're going to get a Rage penalty here as Lewis touches the puck, and we'll get a stoppage in play. So the Bombers will go to the power play for the first time this afternoon. This power play is brought to you by the Pictou County Wellness Center. Draw here in the Rage zone. One back by Little to Cormier. Over for Ross. He'll have a look. He'll throw it in along the boards. Bowden will be there in the corner to pick it up. He'll get some help from Little, who takes it off of him. Little now. Hands it over to Ross, and that'll slip out, so they'll have to regroup. Cormier. He'll loop around with it. Cormier walks in and around with a shot, and he fans on that one. So the Rage will clear it out. Ross can't get there in time. He'll pick it up off of a play of Gunn. That's moved up for Little. He'll drop it back for McDonald. Back for Little with a 1T, and he'll fan on that. A great play. Kept in by Ross. That'll flip up into Little's face as it falls back down. There's a battle for it in the boards. Bowden, the shot. Cormier. He'll take possession and hand it over to Ross. He'll walk in along the boards now. Back to Cormier. Cormier over to McDonald, and that play's broken up and thrown out by Crawford. One too many moves for the Bombers. We've got McDonald. We'll get around, almost tripped up there, but he'll stay on his feet. McDonald still with it in the corner. That'll hand it off for Miller. Moved up, Grace. Over to Little. Down in for Anderson. He'll flip it up. And that'll exit the zone. Grace will have to pick it back up. Just 10 seconds left here on the Bombers' power play. Miller will pick it up. That'll be handed off for Anderson, who walks in with the last-ditch effort. Anderson along the boards, and he'll blow a tire. And we're back to even strength as the Rage ice that one. The draw here back in the Rage zone. Played back for Grace, who will walk into the corner. He'll play it in front with a shot on net, and Anderson just missed. Little flies after that one to keep it in. That's down and around. Anderson trying to get there, but that'll exit the zone. Moved up for Grace as he walks in. Hit off that one by Price. That's flipped up. Weird bounce off the glass, and Miller will keep it in. Dando now. He's got it in the corner. He'll try and fire it out, and Little can't get a stick on that one as it bounces over and down into the Bombers zone for an icing. Draw here. Played back for Crawford. And moved up and around. Cormier after it. That'll exit out to the neutral zone. Back for Reed as he flips it in high. Dando trying to keep it out of harm's way. But Reed's battling for it now. Reed trying to bring it in. That play's broken up. And dumped in by McLean. Rage with it now as they walk around the back of the Bombers' net with it. It's Lewis. Bowden trying to get that one out as Cormier pokes it. That'll be dumped back in, but the Bombers will take possession and have a quick look to see their passing options. It's Whittemore. He'll hand it around for Cormier. In the corner now, Cormier getting some pressure from Crawford. That one's almost put in after Mason Gunn covered it, and it was poked out of his glove. Thrown back in, and Mason Gunn will play it off his stick for Whittemore. Moved up for Bowden, who skates it in. Bowden stops along the boards, and he'll have a look. Trying to look for a passing option. He can't find anyone, so he'll dump it in around the back of the net and chase. And a big hit from Bowden behind the net. Moved in front for Little, who tries to fire it in, but that's kept out by Hartland. So the draw here again in the Rage zone. Little taking the draw here for the Bombers. Rage trying to exit out of the zone. That'll move out and up. Swain battling for it. Still, but Mayo will grab that and dump it into the Bombers zone. Matatal moving it over. And a big save from Mason Gunn to keep his team in this game. We'll have another draw here in the Bombers zone. That's one back by the Bombers. Shot on it by Mason Gunn, sorry. And he'll cover it up. Draw here again in the Bombers zone. One back by the Rage, moved up. Campbell throws it in. Or Carroll, sorry. That's moved up. Little will start to break out for the Bombers. Here comes Little, hands it over, back to Little, and a shot on net. What a play, and what a goal for Cohen Little. And the Bombers take the lead. Little and Swain walk in there, make a few great passes back and forth, and Little buries it in. What a goal for the Bombers. It's 2-1's the score now. That's played back. Little now. He'll move it up for Cormier. Up for McDonald. McDonald will walk in with some speed. Trying to toe drag around, but that play's broken up by Carroll. Big hit. Woolley goes down, but it goes up for Little. Over to Cormier. Shot on net. And that's gloved up. Rebound's alive. And a close chance. And he scores! It's McDonald! Jackson McDonald buries another one in for the Bombers. They built the pressure in front. And Heartland just couldn't get back and forth in time. So the Bombers up by 2 now, within just a minute. That's played along the boards, battling for it in the Bombers zone. Goes back around for Cormier. He'll take a look at his options. As it flips up and out for Bowden. Here's Bowden and Miller. They're walking in. Shot on it, and that's just high. And it'll go out for Simon. Miller trying to get it off their stick. It's Lewis with it now for the Rage. He'll circle back as he tries to look for a passing option, but he'll throw it the length of the ice for an icing against the Rage. Draw here in the Rage zone. One back over to Ross. Ross along the boards now. He'll try and walk in with it. Behind the net. Ross flips it around. Lewis is on his tail though. He'll move it up for Whittemore with a shot on net. And that's off the pad of Heartland. Battle for it along the boards. Lewis comes out with it for the Rage. And he'll fire it out into the neutral zone where Ross picks it up. He's getting some pressure from Crawford though. That'll fire back in for Ross. And a big hit from Simon onto Whittemore. But Whittemore's up and he's still battling for it. Mayo now. He's circling around the Bombers net. He'll play it up to Trudell. And over to Lewis with a shot on net. And that's almost tipped into the net by Simon, but it'll stay out thanks to Gunn. Lewis back over to Trudell. He'll throw it in around the boards. Big hit. Mayo now. Hill fired around. The Rage looking for one here. It's played in front, but Miller clears it out of harm's way. Back over to Trudell with a shot, and that's tipped off of Bowden's leg. And Ross will get hit off that one, and a big hit from Crawford behind the net. Lewis hands it over to Mayo, who takes a shot on net. That'll go wide. Whittemore. He's trying to get possession to get this out of his zone, but Lewis is there to keep that puck in. Moved up. Over to Trudell. He'll hand back over to Lewis with a shot, and that's blocked. And cleared out. And the Bombers will get a well-needed change as that goes the length of the ice. No icing, however, as it didn't fully go down. Handed off for Mayo with a shot. That's almost gloved down, but it'll fire back out into the danger zone. Reed hands it over. Here comes Little. Play broken up, and that's an offside. Draw here. One back by the Bombers. It's McDaniel. He'll move it up. That's tipped away and over for Little, who tries to hand it over to Reed, but he fans on that pass. Big hit, and Little will take possession. Hands it down for McIntosh. He'll walk in and hand that one off. A shot on net. And that's thrown back in. Up for McDaniel with a shot. Thrown in front, and McIntosh just bounces over his stick. And the Rage will move it out. Arsenault over. Walking in and kept out by Gunn. Big hit in the corner by McDaniel. And Crawford will keep it in for the Rage. McDaniel now. He'll move it up, and that's tipped out by Anderson over to Little. It's Little. He'll hand it over. Shot on net by Reed, and that's kept out by Hartland. Reed behind the net battling for it now. And a big hit, no call on that plays. Little goes down with the cross check. Norris now. He'll move it up. Grace hands it over, but no one's there. Little keeps it in, however, with a smart play. That'll spit back out to Grace. And he'll move it up. Here comes Grace walking in, and he'll get hit off that puck. A huge hit by Carroll. Here comes Carroll walking in. He'll make contact with one of his guys, and that'll move out for the Bombers. Lots of hits being thrown here now. McDonald hands it back for Grace. That'll move up for Swain. Off for Anderson. Anderson tries to move it up for McDonald, but he couldn't get his stick down in time. So that'll fly up and get dumped in by the Rage, and they'll go off for a change as Grace races after that puck. Moved up. Here comes McDonald. Walking in. He'll fire it around, but no one's there to pick up his pass, so the Rage will take possession and move it out. Moved up. Here's Whittemore. Hit off that one. And tipped out for McDonald. McDonald will chase after it now. He's got Chevry on his tail. That'll move over to Cormier. Cormier trying to get possession back, but Mayo grabs it. He'll walk around the blue line and hand it off for Dando. That play's broken up by McDonald. Bowden now bringing it in. Lewis trying to keep him out into the corner, and he will. Played around by Mayo, and the Rage will try and break out now. Bowden's there. He'll move it up for Ross, who keeps it in with a fancy move. Ross down into the corner, and he'll play it around for Bowden. Bowden moved up for Ross in the corner again. He'll take a shot on net. Rebound's alive in front. Bowden trying to get there, but that play's blocked. Moved up for Cormier, who walks in down into the corner, and he'll take it around the net. Moved up. He'll move it over for Frazier, who's trying to cut in, but that play's broken up. And here come the Rage. And almost passed for a breakaway there, but Cormier gets his stick in front. Miller now in the neutral zone. He'll try and dump it in, but he's getting some pressure put on him. And another hit, and we'll see a penalty, I believe, here against the Rage. And we will. So it's Price going to the box for the Rage, and the Bombers will get their second power play of the afternoon. Once again, this power play is brought to you by the Pictou County Wellness Center here in Stellarton, Nova Scotia. Draw here in the Rage zone. Bombers looking to extend their lead. That'll fire back for Cormier. Little looking for the 1T, but he'll hand it over to McDonald. The Cormier with a shot on net, and that's almost tipped down into the net. Little now, he'll get it. They move it over for Cormier. Down in for McDonald. He'll walk in with a shot on net, and that's just high. Little keeps it in, however, and he'll move it back to McDonald. Over to Cormier. Back to McDonald. He's looking for his second, and that's kept out by Hartland. McDonald again. Up for Cormier. Over to Little. And that goes off his skate weirdly, but Cormier's there to keep it in for him as it goes off of Little and over to McDonald. Over to Little. He'll try and take a backhand shot, but that's blocked in front. Still kept in by the Bombers. To Little. Cohen Little. Shot on net, and he scores for his second goal of the game. On the power play, Cohen Little. What a goal for the Bombers. They're going to work here today. Great performance by Cohen Little. That puck's dropped. Simon's after it. He'll win it back. That's moved up, but Anderson keeps it. Little now. Moved over. Anderson moves it up for Grace. Almost tipped down in front again. The Rage will try and get it out. Ross is there along the boards. Anderson, as it exits out the zone, will hand it over to Grace. Moved up and tipped in. Battle for it along the boards now. Moves over for Grace. He'll walk in with a shot, and he scores! Connor Grace pots the 5th goal for the Bombers. What a great game so far for the Bombers. They are taking the lead and running with it. Move back for McDaniel. He'll move it up, and Bowden tips it in. Hand it off, but Bowden's there to cut that pass off. He'll take it behind the net. He'll have a look at his options. He'll circle back around. He gets hit off that one by Mayo, though. And now the Rage will start to break out. Mayo walking in with a shot, and that's high and off the netting. So we'll get a stoppage in play. .305 left to go here in this second period. Mayo taking the draw here against Frazier. Frazier will win it back for Cormier. That'll move up for Reed. It'll exit out of the zone. Over for Chevry, who tips it up for Mayos. The Rage, tried to bring it into the Bomber zone. Down in for Cormier. He'll make his moves and bring it up to the neutral zone for Reed. Back to Cormier. Here he comes, walking in, and he'll fan on that shot. and it'll stay behind. Reed now, trying to move it in front, but that's broken up and taken out by Chevry, sorry. Whittemore plays it back for Reed. Back in for Bowden. Bowden walking in. He'll get hit off that by Lewis, and he'll take possession now. Lewis trying to bring it in. Hands it off and throws it up. Price is there, however. He'll take a shot, and that's off the pad of Mason Gunn. Moved it up, and it'll exit the zone. McIntosh now. He'll cut around, hand it over for Elijah Little with a shot on net, and that's wide. Back in for Grace, who tries to keep that puck in, but Price will grab it off him and throw it the length. Picked up. Miller with it. He'll move it up. It's Grace again. He's flying in. He drops it back, and a shot on net, and that's just wide. Played in. Elijah Little will chase. Down behind the net now. He'll loop around and start his breakout. Moves it up, and that'll go onto the net. And Hartland will cover that up. A minute and 6 seconds left here in the second period. Shots 25-7 for the Bombers. Played back. Matatal trying to have a look at his options. Moves it down to McDonald. Shot on net, and that's off the shoulder of Hartland. And it'll stay out of the net. Little now. He'll bring it back and move it up. Matatal can't keep that one in, so Little exit the zone. Simon trying to get the puck off of him, but Little will get there first. Little fires it up for Swain. Anderson trying to reach up to him. Swain hands it off, but that play's broken up. It's in the net, and it's a goal. How did that one go in? I honestly, I have no idea. I didn't see that, I don't think. Anderson gets the goal. I wish we had instant replay. But nonetheless, Anderson gets credit for that goal, and the Bombers go up 6-1 here late in the third. Draw one back. It's Bowden. He'll fire it up. Up for Cam. Woolley moves it up for Cormier. He'll hand it over. Ross with a shot on net. And that's off the pad of Hartman, sorry. Shot on net again by Frazier. And that goes wide. Rage will start their breakout, but Cormier will get there first. And that'll be the end of the second period. An eventful one for the Bombers as they go up 6-1 against the Rage. We'll be back in just a moment for the third.
Tonight's stream is brought to you by John Ross & Sons, Atlantic Canada's scrap metal pros. Cleaning out the garage, job site, or shop? Turn your steel, copper, and aluminum into cash. Drop off at their HRM locations or book a convenient bin for bigger hauls. Family-owned, environmentally responsible recycling that keeps our community clean and jobs local. Visit jrsons.ca and tell them High Button Sports sent you. John Ross & Sons, scrap metal made simple.
And welcome back here, folks, for the third and final period here in this game between the Bombers and the Rage. The Bombers currently up 6-1, but still a whole frame left for the Rage to make a comeback. And here we go. The Bombers win it back. It's Cormier. He'll take it behind the net and throw it around for Little. Back to Cormier. Cormier's still with it. He's trying to bring it through, but that play's broken up by Simon. Anderson hands it off for Little. Elijah Little trying to move it up, and he will flip it out into the neutral zone. Here comes Anderson, hands it off for Swain, who tries to bring it in. That play's broken up and moved out. Simon's after it. Little getting his body in front, and a good defensive play by Elijah Little to keep that out of the danger zone. Moved up for Anderson, and he tips it in to the Rage. And as they battle for it along the boards, Reed picks it up behind the net. He'll loop around. Hand it off for Cohen Little, who's got 2 goals so far in this game. Moved around, Reed blows the tire. And the Bombers will start their breakout, but that's kept almost in by Ross, but Grace will have to pick that up and move it. Carroll after it. He'll loop it around his own net, but Reed's after it. Reed now trying to get it in deep, but that play's broken up and taken out by Mayo, who hands it up. Dropped back by Chevry. Back over for Carroll, who's trying to keep it in, but Bowden hands it up for McDonald. He didn't know where that puck went, so Norris will take it and hand it off for Mayo. Moved up, Bowden's hit off that one. McDonald will pick it up. Here comes McDonald. The shot on net, and that's wide. Moved up for McDonald. He'll have a look here. Hands it over to Cormier, back to McDonald, and that's a close play in front. Mayo now. He'll flip it into the zone, and the Rage will go for a change. Cormier with it, starting to break out. He'll move it up. Frazier trying to get it through. Here comes Cormier. He's walking in, a couple nice moves to get it in, and he goes for the backhand, but that's blocked. Cormier trying to keep it in. He'll hand it back for Frazier, who dumps it. And the Bombers will get their defense changed as McIntosh starts throwing bodies. And moved around by Arsenault. Whittemore keeps it in. Back for Miller, who dumps it in around the net, and McIntosh will chase after it. Big hit along the boards. Dando. And he'll throw it out off the glass. Whittemore's there to keep it in with some help from Miller, who chucks it in for McIntosh. Walking in, hit off the pad. McIntosh trying to get that rebound, but that's moved out of the crease, sorry. Lewis now. He'll try and walk it up, and that's played with a broken stick. So that'll be a penalty against Lewis. That's not the first time we've seen that this season. But Lewis will go to the box, and the Bombers will get another power play here this afternoon. This power play is brought to you by the Pictou County Wellness Center here in Stellarton, Nova Scotia. Little now taking the draw, trying to get possession and extend this Bombers lead. The ref will take a new stick over for Lewis, so he's ready to come out of the box after the end of the 2 minutes. Little now. That's one back by Baldwin, moved up. Kept in by Grace. But that'll have to exit the zone. Ross takes it out with him. Bombers regrouping. Grace now. He'll drop it back for Ross. Ross walking in. Hands it back for Grace. He'll make a play over to Anderson. Anderson back for Grace. Played into Ross. Back to Grace. Back to Anderson. Anderson with the shot, and that's just wide. And it'll exit the zone, and Grace will go chasing after it. Grace taking a moment behind his net. And he'll start to break out. Moves it up for Ross, and he can't get his stick fully on it. So that'll exit back out, and Grace will have to chase after that one again. Behind the net now, he drops it off for McDonald. McDonald moves it up for Cormier. Cormier trying to bring it in, but he's hit off that one. Kept in by McDonald. He'll hand it over for Elijah Little with a shot on net, and that's gloved up by Hartland with 15:06 left to go. Draw here in the rage zone. McDaniel battling for it, and that'll slip out past Cormier. Around the back of the net now. He'll move it up for McDonald. McDonald walking in. He'll have a look and play it over to Cormier, who takes a shot on net. That's off the shoulder of Hartland. That'll move up for Elijah Little. Over to Cormier. Down in, back to Cormier. He'll take a shot, and that's covered up by Hartland, who's trying to keep his team within reach. Draw here in the rage zone. Back to even strength. That'll move up. Price is after it. He's got a breakaway. Shot on net, and that's kept out by Mason Gunn. And we'll get a stoppage in play here, as I believe the net's off. Draw here in the Bombers zone. Played back, shot on net. That's a little high. It'll go into the corner for another shot in front. Back up for the defense with a shot, and that's high. Brabant trying to keep it in, but that'll exit out. McIntosh is after it, over to Reed, who walks in with a shot, and that's just wide behind the net. McDaniel, he'll try and throw it in, but he's getting some pressure put on him. Brant trying to bring it in, and there'll be a stoppage of play there as we have an offside. It's the draw here just outside the Bombers zone. Battle for it, and Miller will bring it out. Lewis dumps it back into the Bomber zone, however. And Ross will have to chase after it. Whittemore moving it up for Anderson, who hands it off to Cohen Little, looking for his third. Over to Miller with a shot on net, and that's off the shoulder of Hartland. Anderson moves it in front for Miller again. Anderson up to Whittemore. To Ross. Ross cuts up the blue line, hands it down in for Cohen Little. Back up for Ross. To Cohen Little. Shot on net, and that's just wide. Whittemore will pinch after it. Little looking for the 1-T. He'll get a shot, and he scores! That's the hat trick! Cohen Little. Another great goal from Cohen Little, putting his team up 7-1. Elijah Little with it now. He'll make a play over to Cormier's. He's hit off that one. Pass to McDonald. The Rage. Shot on net by the Rage, and that goes off the outside of the post. Crawford trying to battle for it, but Cormier will take it off his hands and move it around for Little. That'll flip up. Almost out of play, but it's kept in. Crawford bringing it in now. Swain trying to break up that play. And he will, so it'll go back to Norris. Carroll now, back to Norris. That'll move up for Crawford. Trying to bring it in, but Bowden's there, and he'll take possession as he chucks it into the Rage zone. Moved around and up. Crawford, or Bowden, sorry, can't get there in time, but that'll move over for McDonald. Up for Bowden. He'll walk in and fire it on the net. And Hartnell will cover up that one. Draw here in the Rage zone. Kept in by Matatal, sorry. Matatal throwing it back in. Some pressure being put on by the Bombers, who are trying to get possession in that Rage zone. Moved up for McDaniel, who takes a shot, but that's blocked and goes over to Matatal with a shot. Flipped up and around, that'll exit the zone off of a Rage player's stick, and McDaniel will go chasing down in his own zone. Battle for it. Lewis tries to throw it in. Rage with another shot on net, and that's covered up by Mason Gunn. Draw here in the Bomber zone. Played back. Ross moves it over for Grace. Tries to make a play up for Reed. And that'll move out for Little. Up to Anderson, who tries to get there, and he will. Here comes Anderson with a shot on net, but that play's broken up. Mayo battling for it, but that'll move up for Grace. Hand it over. Ross keeps it in. Down for Little. With shot on net by Anderson. And it goes wide. Grace back up for Anderson. That play's almost broken up by Crawford, but Ross is there. Or Chevry, sorry, but Ross is there. Then it'll move around for Little. Reed after it, battling with Mayo. Moved up, Grace keeps it in, he'll skate it in to Anderson, who flips it up. Back around for Ross with a 1T, and that's saved by Hartnell. Ross trying to throw it in. Little, battling with Mayo once again. Rage trying to break it out. That'll move up for Ross with a shot on net. That'll go into the corner. Ross again over for Anderson with a shot. And that's played off. And it looks like Reed's down. He's not feeling too good. And they'll blow the play dead. And while he's down, folks, we'll just turn the camera away until we're sure he's up and good. And he'll get up now with some help from his teammates, and he'll go to the bench. Draw here, just outside the Rage zone. Moved up. Rage now trying to bring it back in. With a shot on net. That's Carroll trying to bring it in. Whittemore and a huge hit behind the net for Carroll. That'll go to the length of the ice over and in behind the net. It's McDonald. Whittemore with a shot on net, and that's wide. McDonald. He'll move it around. He'll try and move it up, but that'll exit in between the defensemen, and the Bombers will have to regroup. Up for Miller. Miller drops it back. Bowden with a shot, and that's gloved up. Battle for it, and a shot quick, but it'll go wide. Moved up. Here comes the Rage as they dump it around the boards and in. Arsenault goes to the ground. Gotta move around for Price, who had a early opportunity with a breakaway, but couldn't capitalize, so he's looking to get that one back. Moved up and out into the Rage zone. That'll go behind the net. Lewis after it, and he'll grab it and move it around. Thrown up. Rage will dump it in off the stick. But I didn't catch who. McIntosh moves it over for Frazier. Frazier, that's tipped off his stick by Lewis. And Price will try and bring it in, but we'll get a stoppage in play for what I believe is an offside. Draw here just outside the Bomber zone. It'll play in for Chevry. He's trying to get a shot off, but that's broken up. Chevry still with it. He'll walk around. That's played up. Frazier now. Up for Little to Anderson. Dropping it back with a shot on net. It's Frazier, and that's kept out by Hartnell. Excuse me, folks, having some tripod troubles. Grace with it. Up for Anderson. Little's after it. Here comes Little with a shot on it, and that's just high, as he's looking for his fourth of the game. Little still after it. Anderson trying to get there, but it'll move up for Mayo. Makes a pass over. And the Rage will dump it in and go off for a change. Matatal trying to keep it in, but here comes Chevry with a shot on net, and that's kept out by Gunn and covered up. Mason Gunn shutting down the opportunity for the Rage. What a couple of saves. Draw here in the Bomber zone. Let's move it around. Reed trying to bring it out, and he will. Here comes Reed. He'll walk in and play it around the back of the net. McDonald picks it up off of him. He'll get hit into the boards, and that moves up for Crawford. Bowden on his tail. Ross trying to keep that in, but it'll exit out for McDonald, who hands it back to Whittemore. Ross taking his time with it, hands it over to Whittemore, back to Ross, back to Whittemore. Bowden with it now. Over to McDonald with a shot, over to Reed, and that's just high. What a prime opportunity Kept in by Whittemore, who will walk with it in to the corner. He'll flip around and move it up for Bowden. He'll hand it over just a little too far ahead of Ross, so he'll have to pinch in for it. And Price trying to bring it out. And that'll go down into the Bomber zone. Ross to Whittemore. He'll flip that up and into the Rage zone. No icing on that play as the Bombers go off for a change. Here comes the Rage. It's Carroll moving in. He'll play it in front, but that play's broken up by Miller and moved to Swain. Miller trying to get his stick on it. It's Woolley with a shot on net, and that tips in. What a goal! And the Bombers go up 8-1 late in the third. Eli Woolley with his first of the game. Draw here. One back by Woolley. Moved up Cormier to Elijah Little. Swain trying to get there, but that'll flip up and over. We've got Cormier with it. He'll walk it in. Moves it over to Woolley. Back up for Miller with a shot, and that's tipped in front. Thrown up, and Cormier tries to get there, but he'll have to chase after it into the Bomber zone now. And we'll get an icing with 3:26 left in the play. Anderson now. Moves it back. Frazier's after it. But that'll exit the zone and go down. We'll get a stoppage in play for icing, I believe. Draw here being taken by Anderson for the Bombers. He'll try and win it back, but Lewis gets there with some help from Arsenault. Anderson with it, with another shot, and that's just high. Bombers putting on some pressure, trying to keep this one in, but it'll slip out to McDaniel. McDaniel with it. He'll circle around and dump it into the Rage zone. Up, kept in by McDaniel with a shot on net, and that rebound goes a little wide. Anderson tipping it around, and he'll dump it in behind the net again. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Lewis moves it around in the Rage. They're trying to start a breakout, but that's broken up by Frazier. Frazier now skating around, back from McDaniel, takes a shot, and that slips off the pad and into the corner. Matatal with a shot, that's blocked, and he's got another chance with a shot, and that goes off the crossbar and over to McDaniel. Plays it in for Anderson. Tries to shoot it, that'll go off the pad, and we'll get a stoppage in play. As the net might be off, I am not sure. Draw here. There seems to be some focus in the Rage bench by fans. I'm not sure why. As they're looking down in there. That'll fly out into the Bombers zone. Ross after it. Played in front. McDonald grabs it. Moves it up. Bowden can't get there in time, so we'll get a Bombers icing. Draw here in the Bombers zone. One back by Mayo. And covered up by Mason Gunn. Draw here again in the Bombers zone. Played behind the net. Rage trying to get it in, but that'll go off of Mason Gunn as Ross brutes his way towards that puck. Mayo moves it up, over for Brabant. Shot on net. And Bowden will get it and move it out for McDonald. McDonald walking in with a shot, hands it over, and Cohen Little gets his 4th of the game. My goodness. Cohen Little off of a great play from McDonald. Haunts his 4th. What a goal. Bombers up 9-1 with a minute left. Played back by Simon. Moved over. It's Carroll with it. And he'll walk it in and dump it into the Bomber zone. Not at all. Miller tips it out. Moved off the boards. Matatal's there to block that off. Miller can't get his stick quite there in time, so the Rage will move into the Bomber zone with it. Crawford with a shot. And that's covered up by Mason Gunn. He wasn't sure where that one went. Draw here in the Bomber zone with just 25 seconds left. One back. Norris keeps it in, but that'll go over to Miller. And he'll throw it the length of the ice onto net. That's played away. Crawford with it. He'll take it behind the net, where Swain gets pinched. Just 4 seconds left. Bombers benches. Kicking the boards, and that's a Bombers win. Mason Gunn with an incredible game, keeping the Rage to just 1 goal on 16 shots. Bombers with 45 shots against the Rage. And Cohen Little with 4 goals. Not something you see every day. Once again, Bombers take the win 9-1 against the Rage. Thank you for choosing High Button Sports. My name is